In previous lessons, we've talked about the many facets of a career in cloud computing. We looked at the types of technologies that make it possible. We covered the opportunities and the appeal that it has, both for regular users like yourself and I, and for businesses who need to solve technical problems. After that, we looked at the National Institute of Standards and Technology's definitions around cloud computing, making sure that we were armed with a good set of language and terminology and concepts so that we could have a conversation around the roles that cloud computing plays. Now, throughout this video series, you've seen me do a whole lot of drawing, and it's true, I am an artist on the side, and that means that I also create visual art and graphic design and a whole bunch of different mediums, and I sell it here in Asheville, North Carolina, and also online to the rest of the world by using a number of different cloud service providers. To kind of illustrate the concept, I wanted to show you how I use some tools to go from design to online in a matter of minutes. I just had an idea for a design, so I'm going to go ahead with an old school technique and grab some paper and a pen and go to my desktop here, and then we'll go ahead and get the picture drawn. The time-lapse photography that you see me using here was done using a digital camera that I bought online at an e-commerce vendor called Amazon.com. And once I was finished with the design, I used my cloud-enabled Google Pixel 3 smartphone to take a photo of it. And then I jumped into a cloud-licensed piece of software, Adobe Photoshop. Now, the cloud license is a little interesting here. This is a software subscription model that I'm using, but it still falls under the categories of software as a service. The big value add is that Adobe charges me month by month to use the software. If there's a month where I don't think I'm going to need Photoshop, I can turn it off and stop paying for it. Now, once I get it into Photoshop, I'm going to go through and pull out the background, get it resized, and get the image ready to go and share and host online. This is where my first hosted cloud service provider comes into play. So now I'm over here on a website called redbubble.com, and this is referred to as a print-on-demand service. So it's a cloud service accessible via the internet, and they allow me to upload digital images that they'll print onto a whole bunch of different products. So it takes just a moment for us to go and get it uploaded. And on the next couple of screens, we get what's called a Wysiwyg Editor. This stands for what you see is what you get. And it basically means that right on screen, you can see how the products are going to look when they're finally printed. And it's a super cool piece of functionality. So there's my design, and as I scroll on down through, you can see they've already put it on a whole bunch of different types of products. There's a phone case, pillows, wall art, and if I drill into each one of these products, they give me the ability to customize it even farther. This is where the concept of a platform comes into play, because now Redbubble's not dictating exactly what I have to do. They're giving me the ability to control and customize even farther to my own personal needs. So in the background, you've got AWS down here. They are the infrastructure as a service provider. And then above that, Redbubble is both the platform and software as a service provider. And then there's good old Bart. I'm providing my images. I'm just the user, and I'm managing the data that's inside of it. Now, Redbubble gives me lots of options, but it's still kind of limited within what the platform provides. This is the idea behind platform as a service. So if I want to be able to build my own websites from scratch, I have a different set of logistical concerns, and I need more control. I need to bypass Redbubble and go directly to AWS and start using their products instead of working through this intermediate layer. I have an example of this. Let's take a look at a service catalog that I've built that lets me launch WordPress sites. So now we're taking a look at a dashboard that I created for myself over in Amazon Web Services. Now, AWS has got tons of products and services that we can use. One of the cool things about what I've created here is this catalog only has a small selection of what I want to use. And like a menu filled with too many options, sometimes it can be hard to decide. And as an administrator or as a solutions architect, sometimes we need to steer our users or our consumers into specific options that we know to be best for them or targeted to a certain need that they might have. So the products that I've created for myself here, in the top left I have the basic LAMP single server, and LAMP is a web hosting architecture that stands for Linux, the operating system, Apache, the web server, MySQL is a database engine, and then PHP is a software development language that we can use to perform some functionality with. This is the type of engine that you would run WordPress on. I also have another option that includes WordPress running on top of it already. The third option down here, multi-AZ LAMP server. And the idea behind multi-AZ mode is to run two different servers. So they're both running the same website, and if you lose one of them, you still have the other one to keep it up and running. This is a cool high availability design. So I've actually got 3 different flavors of website hosting architectures that are available for me to choose from. So for illustration purposes, I'll go ahead and click on Basic WordPress, and I'm going to go ahead and say Launch Product. That looks good. And I'll go ahead and call this Art by Bart Castle, Site 1. And I'm going to go ahead and choose this little WordPress version down here, and we'll say next. On the next page, it asks me for a few additional configurational parameters. I'll provide that. Need to put in a key name. We'll put in some passwords. Great, so we'll go on to the next page, and next we'll go ahead and continue on. We'll say, nope, don't need any notifications, and launch. Now that's going to take a few minutes for me to get that web server up and launched, so we'll let it run. And hey, a few minutes isn't so bad, considering I just considered that I wanted to create this just a few minutes ago, clicked a few buttons, and now I have to wait just a few more minutes to have a working WordPress site. All right, so we'll give it a quick refresh here, and we should be able to get the website address back. Great, it says that it has succeeded, and right down here is the website URL. It put this address together for me. I'm going to go ahead and copy the address there. We'll jump up here and put it in the URL, and then I'm going to put the WordPress administration path on the end there. Excellent. So here we have a brand new WordPress site ready to go. It's asking me to configure a few things. Sweet. So there's my website. I'll go ahead and get myself logged in. That was Bart. Put in the password. And got my dashboard ready to go here on the new WordPress site, so I could get my images uploaded and start running my own little blog and have an internet presence. And so in this way, using that service catalog, I just became my own service provider. I was able to create a menu of options for my users to interact with. They're pre-configured. They offer the self-service model. It's pay-as-you-go, and it's built on top of Amazon Web Services. So just to kind of recap, I showed you a bunch of different types of cloud computing services that I use, like e-commerce software services, subscription software services. I showed you hosted platform services that depend on other types of infrastructure as a service models. And then I showed you how I created a service catalog where I can become my own provider for my consumers to use my on-demand self-service webpage. In the end, all of this and more waits for us out there in a career with cloud computing. So in our next and final Intro to IT Cloud Computing lesson, we'll be setting you up with what are your next steps to move forward on into these career opportunities. We'll talk about education, certification options, and some of the other specific paths that vendors like Google, AWS, and Microsoft Azure have available for cloud specialists. Don't miss it. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.